Welcome, guys. Another episode of the SAK show powered by MacCoffee only on Zindagi TV. And today it's one of the most sought after entrepreneurs. This guy has made history. He's not only an entrepreneur, he's also a doctor. We finally got hold of Dr. Manoj Shah. And we have a very interesting episode. Keep watching. Dr. Manoj, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
I mean, it's a pleasure. We've been chasing you for a while and finally we got hold of you.
Thank you.
Please give us a brief introduction about yourself.
Thank you very much, Zindagi TV, for inviting me to participate in this episode that has been powered by MacCoffee. I am Dr. Manoj Shah. I am the Group Managing Director of the Kingsway Group of Companies. The Kingsway Group of Companies is a group of companies that is involved in the tire business, into hospitality, finance, and the property sector. At the same time, I'm also a philanthropist. I do work with the MP Shah Hospital on an honorary basis, and I'm also involved with the Lions Club's international organization.
Oh, that's quite a handful over there, And now tell me, just want the audience to know that we're going to break this episode into two parts. The first part, we will be talking about your personal life, about how you've made it so far. And then in the second part, I know there are a lot of young entrepreneurs who want your advice and your expertise on how to go about in life. So tell us, how did all this entrepreneurship, how's your journey been so far, and how did it all start?
Thank you very much, Zaid. In fact, my journey started at a very young, tender age of 17 years.
17?
As I was finishing school, I was forced into my father's business for the very simple reason because my father was ailing. He was not in good health.
Okay.
And at that point in time, he really needed a hand to run the family business. He had started the business was struggling, and at the same time, his health also felt poor. When I was in school and as I was finishing my school, I used to spend part of my time helping my father run the family business. When we talk about our family business, our flagship company that we started with many years ago was Kingsway Tires Limited. This year is a very special year for us, Kingsway Tires Limited, as we are celebrating our 60th anniversary this year.
Wow, that's amazing.
Out of the 60 years legacy of Kingsway Tires, I have spent 45 years of my prime life in this company.
Was that something that you didn't have a choice, or by default you had to do it?
I did not have a choice, and by default I came into the business. My elder brother was studying in London at that point in time, and my father did not want to disrupt his studies. My younger brother was too young. He was in school, and at any point in time he was no way ready to take over the family business. It was only me that was there, that joined the family business at a very tender age of 17 years. That's when I came into my father's business.
Wow.
At that time, the shop was a very small shop. It was actually a former prison. The name Kingsway comes from the Kingsway police station.
Okay.
And this road in the British colonial time was called the Kingsway Road. And that's where the name comes from.
Okay.
So my father started this business in 1960 from a prison cell. He built it up to a certain level, and then due to his ailing health, I had to join him, and consequently 3 years after I joined my father's business, started learning what was happening in the business, my father succumbed and left me to run the business together with my elder brother at a very tender age of 20 years.
20 years, wow. So at the age of 20, you've been left with this big whole burden on your shoulders.
That's right. So when I took over my father's business, it was not easy. It was not a bed of roses. We had a lot of challenges as we took over the business. And as all of you know that whenever you have somebody above you who is experienced, the business runs. But when you're left to run the business on your own, there are a lot of hurdles, there are a lot of obstacles and challenges that I really had to face to come out of reality. It took us almost 10 years after my father passed away to stabilize the business and go on the upward trend of growing our business.
So what happened in those 10 years? I mean, maybe you can share with us some of your most amazing experiences and
So
the hurdles that the challenges that you faced.
I was very unfortunate at a very tender age.
Yes.
That I never had a chance to go on coffee dates. I never had the opportunity of doing what young people do today, because I had to focus on my father's business and I had to focus on making sure that our family survives. Staying in a joint family was not easy, because my father had his 5 brothers,
Yeah.
and we were a family of 15 people
Wow.
that my father was actually looking after.
And that fell on you then.
That's right. That
Wow.
whole burden came onto me and my elder brother, who joined me 3 years later, and we started on our journey of building our business. And we actually were very fortunate, because we used the building block system at that point in time, step by step, to make our business strong, to put up a strong foundation for the extended family, so that both the business could survive and grow, and at the same time the business could also support the needs and wants of our extended family that was only growing. In the 10 years that me and my brother initially started off after my father passed away, we really had to put in a lot of hard work. We had to come up with a lot of innovation. We had to build a lot of bridges, goodwill in the market, and most important of all, with the grace of God, we managed to get some bridging finance from one finance company that actually saw our survival and our growth into the next decade of service that we put in the company.
So tell me, what about education? I mean, did you have to complete your education? Did you study? Did you finish it, or did you just leave it halfway and join the business?
I was very determined that I really wanted to educate myself like my elder brother and my younger brother. I wanted to go to university. I had my ambition. However, because of the circumstances, I was forced to finish my school at O levels. And after that, I took an online course. I started studying in the evenings.
Wow.
It took me 3 years, but nevertheless, I was determined to graduate. And today I'm also a graduate with honors, with a master's in business administration.
Wow.
So I did accomplish my dream of studying and getting my higher education, and at the same time working and building our family business.
So finding that balance, education, studying at the same time, then there's the family pressure, taking care of all these people, running the business. Share some insights with us.
So the first 5 years was not easy, because it was a balancing act between the priority of running the family business.
Yeah.
There was also the issue of handling all our family matters, and at the same time I had to ensure that I kept on with my education and to pursue my dream of becoming a graduate. And what really at that point in time, the lessons that I learned was time management.
Time management.
How do I give the best of my time? How do I manage my time effectively so that I can accomplish all these 3 components and become the self-made man that I am today?
So time management was key. When people were youngsters your age were having fun and dating and all,
That's right.
you were busy studying and hustling.
That's true. I don't remember ever going to a coffee shop. I
Wow.
never had a coffee date.
Yeah.
I never had an opportunity to go out and have vacations or holidays like what all the youngsters did at that tender age. I got right into the business. I got right into my education career and started looking after my family. And that was my responsibility that I took upon my shoulders.
Wow. Any regrets about not doing all that?
I really have no regrets
Yeah.
because as I reflect back on what happened at that point in time when I joined the family business, and especially the first 10 years that I came into the family business, I really have no regrets, because that is what laid a strong foundation for the family business and for the family that everybody is enjoying today. If it wasn't for that, we would not be what we are today.
Wow. a lot of hard work and patience, I must say,
That's right.
to achieve all that. And then tell me then, in terms of your family business, growing it to the next level, doing business then and with the current business, is there a big difference, comparing your expertise then and now?
True. When I started, when I joined the family business in 1976, at that point in time, we did not even have a calculator in the small shop that my father was running. In 1976, we used to calculate using an abacus device that used to calculate all the finances and the money that we had. And the first innovation that I ever had in my business career was to buy a Casio calculator,
Wow.
which cost 500 shillings at that time.
Wow.
And that was the only innovation that I had.
Yeah.
There were no cell phones, there were no computers, there was no software. Everything was done manually in the olden days as we grew our business. However, I, together with my brothers, we were determined to embrace technology, embrace new things that came over, and it was only 10 years later that we got introduced to the digital world, to computers, to emails,
Yes.
bringing in softwares,
Yes.
getting in things to be done in a different manner.
So apart from Kingsway, you mentioned there are a couple of other things that you do also.
Yes. So we were very blessed because my younger brother joined our business after
Yeah.
10 years. My elder brother joined the business. And as I mentioned to you, the first 10 years were very difficult as we laid a strong foundation. Our growth actually came after the 90s, when both my brothers joined me and strengthened our family business. And at that point in time, we made a very conscious effort that each one of us start expanding the family business.
Wow.
So I stayed with the tire business and I gave leadership to the tire business. We were one tire center at that point in time, and today we are 27 tire centers all over the country with a workforce of over 300 people.
Wow.
So I started growing the tire business.
Mhm.
My elder brother went into diversification. He went into selling cars. We had Kingsway Motors at that time. We had a franchise of Daewoo Motors.
Mhm.
We went into the electrical business, which we still run today, which was Creative Innovations. So my brother took over charge of building that business up. My younger brother took charge of our property business and development business, and he took charge of putting up a big shopping mall, which is called the Village Market.
Yes.
He took up the construction of two big hotels, the Tribe Hotel, the Trademark Hotel. He also took up the project management of very many other building projects that our group has done in the last 30 years. So each one of us took a different dimension of the business and started growing it till today.
Mhm.
We are all together as a group of companies, but each one had a responsibility of developing each business.
Generally, when the manpower comes in and brothers, I've seen businesses fall and tear apart. And brothers tend to go, this one has gone this way, this one has gone that way, and
True.
but in your case, I think yours worked the other way around. Once they joined you is when they started growing out. How did you manage to have that close bond between your brothers?
Fortunately, from day one,
Yeah.
all three of us have had a very unified vision,
Mhm.
and we have had a great working relationship. We may fight in the boardroom,
Mhm.
we may have difference of opinions, but at the same time, when we go out of the boardroom door,
Yeah.
we are all united,
Yes.
in unison with whatever decision we take as far as business or family matters are concerned. And this is the unity that all the three brothers have that has led to the success that we are enjoying today.
Mhm. Mhm.
Not only that, but our extended family today is so unified that we now have the fourth generation that is entering into the family business.
Wow.
We were the second generation.
Yes.
The third generation has come into the family business,
Mm.
and the fourth generation is now
Is preparing to
joining
come. Yeah.
the family business.
Wow. Mr. Manoj, Dr. Manoj, how did Dr. Manoj come?
So I actually got a honorary doctorate
Yeah.
12 years ago.
Wow.
because of the philanthropic work that I did or I do at that point in time.
Yes,
And
tell us more about that, please. Yeah.
So I was recognized by the United Graduate College and Seminary. They saw all the philanthropic work that I've been doing with the Lions Clubs, in running the Lions Sight First Eye Hospital, in running of the MP Shah Hospital, and doing a lot of philanthropic work, not only in Kenya, but all over Africa. And in recognition of all my efforts, they gave me a Honorary Doctorate in philanthropy that is now added to the title of my name.
Okay. And that's something, how did that come about? How did you start getting into philanthropy?
From a very young age, as I joined my father's business, of course, my mother was my biggest inspiration. My mother was a great follower of Mother Teresa, and she was also a big volunteer worker at the Mother Teresa's home here in Nairobi when they started in the 70s. In fact, when Mother Teresa came here for the first time from Calcutta into the city of Nairobi, it was my mother who hosted her, and she actually blessed my mother for the social work and the contribution to philanthropy that my mother did at that point in time. So my inspiration as far as philanthropy is concerned comes from my late mother.
Okay.
And from a very young age, as I joined work, I also used to go out with my mother and volunteer in my younger days at the Mother Teresa's home. And since then, I've never looked back, and philanthropy has always been a part and parcel of me.
Amazing. And now tell me, as all this time, there must be one figure that you used to look upon and say, you know what, sometimes we admire Steve Jobs or somebody. There has to be a personality who you really used to look forward to.
That's right.
Yeah.
In terms of business,
Yes.
I actually looked upon my elder brother, who was our greatest inspirator and guide.
Wow.
To
So
the
you
growth
looked
of our
in
business.
the house, you didn't go outside.
No,
huh?
not externally, but internally.
Okay.
Because he came in from UK,
Yeah.
he came in with new ideas.
Okay.
He came in with a lot of innovation. And in our initial days, I had the opportunity of traveling with him, working with him to grow our family business. As far as philanthropy is concerned, I really look upon my mentor, late Dr. S.P. Amin.
Okay. Yeah.
He was a great inspirator. He was, besides my mother, he was the person who actually gave us a lot of direction and encouragement as to why should we enhance our philanthropic work in Kenya.
And then how did Lionism come in? Because you are a very influential figure in the international market as well.
So, fortunately or unfortunately, I actually became a Lion member by accident.
Everything is happening by default in your
That's
life.
right. And somehow it happens for the better.
Yes.
And I've actually never regretted
Yeah.
joining the Lions Club's organization.
Okay.
It was one fine night in the year 1985
Yeah.
when I was invited to a Lions function where a new Lions Club was being chartered by my very good friend. And I was a guest.
Okay.
And the next thing I knew was that the people who are forming that club invited me on that very night that would you like to join the Lions Club? And they said, you must join and be a part of us.
Yeah.
Without knowing what I was going into, the next thing I did is to raise my hand, and I do. And that's the time I joined the Lions Club's International.
Yeah.
And since then, I've never looked back. I've always climbed the ladder.
Yes.
And at this point in time, I've reached the level of being an international director on the board of Lions Clubs International.
Wow.
I've reached the scope of being the entire leader of the continent of Africa. And this year is a very special year for me, as I've been appointed as a trustee for 3 years of the Lions Clubs International Foundation.
That's amazing. I think this year is your year. Everything is happening on the right track over here.
Fortunately.
So guys, I hope you're enjoying the episode. It's Dr. Manoj Shah with us. We meet right after this quick break.
Hi, I'm Monique. I'm a fitness trainer. I'm a kickboxing trainer and a personal trainer. MacCoffee, white coffee, 3-in-1. It is easy and fast to make. In between clients, I can make a cup of MacCoffee, white coffee, 3-in-1. And it's only 15 shillings. Coffee, power your now.
Dr. Manoj, it's a question that I ask everyone on the show. Do you prefer coffee or tea? Just be honest. It doesn't matter if MacCoffee Rana is your friend or no.
Very honest person. I am a tea drinker.
You're a tea guy, masala tea.
Masala tea. But since I met Rana and
Yeah.
since I've been enjoying some of his different types of coffee,
Yeah.
I'm actually getting acquired to the taste of coffee.
Oh, that's nice. I'm a coffee addict.
You're a coffee.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I can smile and speak so much.
So I've started drinking coffee,
Yeah.
but not regularly, but
Yeah.
occasionally.
Yeah.
I do enjoy a strong cup of coffee.
You know this. I just nowadays we have coffee to stimulate us. We have energy drinks and this and that. Those days, what used to keep you going? I mean, what was your source of energy? Where did you used to get all that?
In fact, when I started work,
Yeah.
and even at home, always a good cup of tea used
Yeah.
to get me off the ground.
Wow.
And even since my younger days,
Yeah.
I always needed a cup of tea at 10 o'clock,
Yeah.
and I needed my tea at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
And tea was like an addiction to me,
Uh-huh.
that without tea I could not function. And I was really craving and looking forward to
Yes,
that nice
yes.
cup of strong tea.
Yes. You know, we've heard about your highs. Were there any lows in your life as well in your early days or something? God forbid, did you get into drugs or, deviate at a certain point or something?
Fortunately, I had no qualms when I
Yeah.
was young.
Yeah.
My mother always told me that I was the best behaved boy in the family, and she always wished that I would misbehave.
Yeah, yeah.
But like I mentioned to you, I never had that
Yeah.
opportunity of doing that.
Yeah.
Of course, when we were in school, in very, very younger days, at that time there was that occasional cigarette that you used to
Yeah,
smoke,
yeah.
or that occasional
Yeah.
bottle of beer that you used to drink because
Yes.
of peer pressure
Yes,
or
yes,
friends.
Yes.
But I'm very, very proud to say that since the last 35 years
Yeah.
of my life, I'm alcohol free and tobacco free.
Wow.
I've never touched a drop of alcohol in the
Wow.
last 35 years.
Wow. That's awesome, man. I think tea is the way then.
Tea is the way, for sure.
For sure. All right. So tell me, in the first half we heard about your amazing journey so far, and my take from there was like, time management was critical in your early days. I mean, share with us the inner secrets of not even Doctor, of Manoj Shah, the inner things that what are your takes from your experience so far as an entrepreneur?
So, as an entrepreneur, I always firmly believe through my experience
Yeah.
that if you really want to be successful, you need to be self-disciplined,
Yes.
right? You really need to have a fixed vision of mind and a roadmap as to where you want to go and how you want to succeed. If you do not have a roadmap, if you do not have a vision, that is the first step to failure.
Wow.
The other thing that I have learned, and this I've learned really the very hard way, is that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Yeah.
In my life, that is a lesson
Hmm.
that I have learned at a very young age, and it has also been very costly to many of our ventures.
Oh, okay.
And since then, I've always kept these things in my mind, that if you want to succeed, always have a plan,
Have a plan.
right? Never do anything without a plan. And when we talk about plan, time management is of course a critical part of that plan, because in order to make any plan work for you to succeed, you must have the component of time management. And at the same time, you must have a roadmap. You must have a vision of where you want to go and what you want to do. I am a firm believer of something called a dream book.
Dream book.
A lot of people do not believe in dream
I
books,
need to start taking my notes also. Yeah, go on,
but
please.
I am a firm believer in dream books.
Yeah,
And I can share with you a testimony
please do. Yeah.
that at the tender age of 17, I had a dream book.
Wow.
In my dream book, I actually drew a Mercedes car that I wanted as my dream. I put in that I want to sit on an aeroplane and travel overseas.
Wow.
I put in the book that I always want to dress up nicely And these were the dreams that I actually put down on a piece of paper, and I kept it in my bathroom, and I used to watch and look at these dreams every day.
Wow.
And believe me or not, my first dream of wearing a tie came true at an age of 18 when I bought my first tie and my first jacket.
Wow.
My second dream, the first time in my life when I ever sat into an aeroplane and traveled all the way to India, was in the year 1979 in a very old aeroplane, DC-9, that was operating between Nairobi and Mumbai 3 times a week.
Wow.
But if I did not put it on the drawing board, I would never have traveled.
Wow.
And 10 years later,
Yeah.
I would never imagine that my father would actually leave his new Mercedes after he passed away onto my name.
Wow.
And since that day, I've always made it a point
Yeah.
that I must always have a Mercedes
Yeah.
parked at home,
Yeah.
even if I don't
Yeah.
drive it.
Yeah.
But if you don't dream, your
Yeah.
dreams will never come true.
So it's like the dream is like it's the law of attraction.
Exactly.
It just pulls it back to you.
Exactly.
Wow.
It's very powerful. A lot of people do not understand how powerful dreaming is.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people dream, but when they wake up in the morning, they forget about it.
True.
But if you really dream,
Yeah.
put your dreams on a piece of paper, put them somewhere where you can see them on a daily basis. I can only assure you a lot of your dreams can come true.
Wow. So guys, you know what to do now. Get rid of those scrapbooks. Make dream books instead. Dream books. Tell me, you know, I was actually talking to someone and we were like discussing. So I said, I have to ask you this question. Is that in terms of entrepreneurship, you know, they said, oh, you know, those people who have made it have made it. Right now, it's very difficult to make money or to become successful or to make your business big. What's your take on that?
I don't believe that statement at all.
Yeah.
I only believe that people who make excuses that they cannot succeed are excuses. I firmly believe that there is a big opportunity
Yeah.
in anything and everything that you do.
Yeah.
And if you really put your mind, your heart, and your soul to it, you can make it successful.
Mm-hmm.
You only need a great idea. You need to have a lot of determination,
Yeah.
and you can make it.
Yeah.
Over the last 30 years, we have developed so many businesses, and as we go along, in the last 3 years, we've developed 3 more new businesses, and all of them are succeeding. So I really can't see why, if anybody ventures into any new business, there is no opportunity. We all know that there is competition, there are many new players, but with the innovation that is out there,
Yeah.
with determination,
Yeah.
you can certainly succeed.
Tell us, how did you tackle your competitors, if there were any, at that time and at the moment?
So as we grew our very many various businesses, talking about the tire business, of course, when we started, we had very little competition, but today every third door sells tires and it's become like a commodity.
Yes.
But in order to succeed, you must find out new innovative ways of how do you succeed in keeping your business intact. And one of the things that's kept us going is our vision and our determination. What we have done is we have focused our businesses on particular brands and on the goodwill that we have had over the many years. We have not diverted into Chinese goods, into the other shortcut markets like people talk about them.
Yes. Yes.
We have never ventured into that. And the other thing is, as long as you do honest business, as long as you have a good reputation out there in the market,
Yeah.
there is nobody who can actually take your competition away.
Wow.
People will come, people will go, the players will be there, but you will definitely survive.
You'll survive it out. Wow, interesting. I mean, there's so much to learn from you, and you know, so upcoming entrepreneurs, what would be your message to them?
I would really encourage all the upcoming entrepreneurs, especially young people. I do mentor a lot of young people now that I
Yes.
have a lot of free
Yes.
time, and I've kind of semi-retired into the tire business.
Yes.
And what I really advise them is to come up with a plan, come up with how they want to make their dream come true, and really follow the advice that is being given by people out there. I always encourage them that if you really want to make it to the top, you cannot go into an elevator and press the button that I want to go to the 22nd floor, and in 20 seconds you will be up there. I always tell them that keep at the back of your minds that if you want to reach the top, you have to climb the stairs step by step. And as long as you keep that at the back of your mind, there is no way you will fail. I've seen a lot of young entrepreneurs fail because they want to make it quick. And there is no quick money that
No
can be
shortcuts
made,
at all.
and there is no shortcuts. You have to climb the stairs, you have to climb them one by one, and if you're prepared to do that, if you're prepared to have patience and wait, you will certainly make it at the end of the day.
Well, there you go, guys. We heard it from the man himself. Now, you know the current pandemic which is going on, COVID, and what's your take on that, sir?
So basically, the COVID has really impacted the lives of people. It's really had a big impact on the mental wellness of a lot of people.
True.
It's also hurt a lot of businesses like ours, and in the medical field, it's also put a lot of pressure on the various hospitals. I will start off by talking about what's happening at our hospital at this point in time, and then come back to what's happening with business and the personal life.
Yes, please. Yeah.
At this point in time, the hospital that I work for, the MP Shah Hospital, or the hospital that I'm a chairman of, is overwhelmed with people who are suffering and have been actually tested positive for COVID. Our hospital is full to the brim. We don't have a single bed to take care of COVID patients. On another aspect, our critical care units, our ICU and our ventilators are full, and today if somebody needs to go onto a ventilator, we don't even have a single space for him. In the last 15 days, we have had 10 deaths in our hospital, almost one dying every day from COVID. The situation is really bad. But what I really want to bring out to the public here is that once you are tested positive, and once you go to the hospital, and once you go to the isolation wards, it's like a prison. You really need a lot of mental wellness to stay there for 10 days, 14 days, 20 days until you are tested negative. We have seen in the past, just last week, a patient who was there for almost 14 days, he tested positive again, and he jumped from the 3rd floor to commit suicide. Luckily, we saved him. He had broken bones. But this is what COVID does to you. We have had another lady who is almost gone mental, and she's now having to go psychiatric treatment because she has not been able to accept staying in an isolation ward for 15 days. Young people, really, they are not willing to stay in the isolation ward because staying in those wards, being tested positive, is the worst thing that can ever happen to you. So as far as COVID in the hospital is concerned, it's really a grave situation, and I would like to encourage my brothers and sisters out there, let's be safe rather than sorry, and stay at home and do what you have to do, but do not do what you do not have to do. Coming back to our business, our businesses have totally been impacted. In fact, when COVID broke out in the month of March, the first week of April, we were forced to close our hotel, the Tribe Hotel. We had to send 400 staff members home. We had to close down one of our factories in Mombasa because of productivity and to cut our costs down. We had to take a lot of austerity measures within all our businesses in order to survive this pandemic times. We are now into the 4th month of the pandemic. The situation has slightly improved, but I can only share with you that things are not as normal as what we saw pre-COVID. We had a lot of plans, we had a lot of dreams and aspirations and expansion plans for this year,
Yes.
but everything has been put on hold. As far as people are concerned, you may see people smiling, you may see people laughing, but at the same time, I can only share with you that the suffering that people are undergoing at this point in time is phenomenal. The biggest stress that I've seen with a lot of people, especially young people, is actually the comfort of having a job. They don't know what is there in for them tomorrow.
So
A
true.
lot of people are suffering because of the pay cuts, because of the austerity measures that have taken place.
Yes, yes.
A lot of parents are suffering mentally because their children are at home. They haven't gone to school for 4 months. They are not going to school for another 5 months. And really, to keep children at home for parents, and especially working parents, is not the easiest thing that you can do.
True.
When you talk about pregnant mothers who are there and ready to deliver, they do not know whether they should deliver, and even if they deliver, what happens next. So overall, the situation is not as good as it looks, and my personal take on this is that the situation is definitely not going to improve until the later part of this year,
Yeah.
possibly in November or December.
Yeah. Surviving is difficult for everybody in this
Yes.
time and everything. And I know you've taken me on a zone right now. My thoughts have gone very far. There's some deep words by Dr. Manoj over here. Okay, coming back to the script is so how does an entrepreneur survive in this COVID time?
So at this point in time, what a lot of people have done is, of course, cut down on their cost, cut down on the businesses,
Yes.
and of course take a lot of austerity measures. However, what we have done is something slightly different.
Mm-hmm.
What we have started and embarked on is something called a post-COVID strategy,
Okay.
because what we think and what we believe is that COVID is there to stay, and we have to learn how to stay and work with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we have started building our businesses. We have been started thinking outside the box. We have started looking at new innovative ways of how to make our various businesses work. We have started looking at online platforms and how can we carry on with our business and our work virtually.
No, okay.
We are actually seeing very good results, especially in the first month of implementation. And of course, one of the things that we are now going to embrace is digital marketing, because we firmly believe that investing into marketing will certainly help us
Yes,
to
yes.
grow and sustain our businesses.
Yes.
So if we are able to put all these new pieces together
Yeah.
in this COVID times,
Yes.
we will not only be able to sustain our business, but we will be able to get out of this pandemic and we will be able to grow our business.
Amazing. I mean, we've spoken to everyone. What would be your message to your fellow entrepreneurs now?
To my fellow entrepreneurs, my message to each and every one of you is, please let COVID be there at the back of your minds. Let's go ahead with our lives in a careful manner. Let's be innovative. Let's think outside the box, and let's find new ways of making our life and our businesses work and become more sustainable and profitable.
Amazing, so much. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Manoj.
Thank you,
It's been a
sir.
pleasure talking to you, and we've learned so much from you.
Sure.
And we look forward to, you opening up something for young entrepreneurs or something.
Definitely.
Any parting words and anything that we expect from you, something in the next couple of months?
Thank you very much, Zindagi TV, for giving me this great opportunity to be here and talking to my very good friend Zahid. And my only message to all of you out there is that really at this point in time, let's all be safe, let's all be responsible for whatever we do, and let's make sure that we also respect everybody else's life.
Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Manoj. I mean, wow, we've learned so much over here. And we have to give you some coffee. I know you're a tea person,
Thank you.
but you can enjoy some MacCoffee over here.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time, guys. Keep watching, and thanks so much for your support so far. Very interesting stuff. Make sure you share it with all your fellow friends over here, and keep watching Zindagi TV.